Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the Shrine. Now, I'm going to let you guys know this week's Shrine isn't actually too bad. We're going to be looking at Fixated, we're going to be looking at Iron Maiden, we've also got Stakeout alongside Unnerving Presence. Now, something to keep in mind, Fixated is actually a really fun perk to utilize, okay? Now, it's not brilliant in terms of it only works while you are on full health, half of the perk. The other part of the perk will work at all times. Now, let's talk about it. While on full health and uninjured, you will move at 10, 15, and 20% faster while walking. If you have no Mither, this perk is rendered useless on this half. Now, the second half is you can see your own scratch marks. Whether you're injured or on full health, you will always be able to see your own scratch marks. Therefore, if you run Fixated with Dance With Me, you're going to be able to see your own scratch marks not appear, then reappear. It's going to help you a lot if you try and lose the killer, and it's going to help you understand scratch marks with 10 seconds, how they last, and 7 seconds when they start, where they're nearly unreadable at 7 seconds, as opposed to 10 seconds, they are completely gone, and 4 seconds with lightweight. This being said, Fixated is a nice perk if you're going to be running it with Objective Obsession, or if you're going to be running Fixated with Sprint Burst with Vigil. It just really depends on how you tailor your build. I think there are better options on the table, so I personally don't rate it too phenomenal. However, it is a Nancy Teachable, who is a character out of Stranger Things. This being said, she is a paid DLC. If you are a collector and you don't want to purchase the DLC required, you should pick up Fixated, because it's actually a bit of a fun perk to utilize. On to the next perk, Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden allows you to search lockers 30, 40, and 50% quicker. Yes, that does count for a Huntress. This means a Huntress will reload at a locker 50% quicker. Yes, it does stack with the Yellow Atom. Therefore, a Huntress will reload about 70% quicker at lockers, which is going to be really good if people try and hook save while you're reloading at a locker. You can easily do a 180, hatch it, and maybe get multiple hits off depending on how quick you are and how slow the survivors are. Now, the other part is basically whenever a survivor jumps out of a locker, slow or fast out of a locker, they basically will scream, revealing their current location through a scream bubble above the head, much like the Doctor's Madness ability, revealing that current location of a survivor, and there'll be one hit down as well with exposure through M1 means. Therefore, a Nurse Blink M1 will work, however, a Hatchet from a Huntress will not have the effect of Iridescent Head, for example. Moving on to the next perk. Personally, I don't mind Iron Maiden on a Huntress, but I wouldn't run it on any of my other killers unless I was running Iron Maiden with Barbecue on my Doctor and people are trying to hide from Static Blast, but that's very seldom the case that I would go for that kind of combo. I'd rather go for something that would help benefit the Doctor for the mid or late game. Now, the next perk is called Stakeout. Stakeout's a bit of a complicated perk to explain, but let's just see how it goes. When you're within the killer's terror radius, whether it's an 8-meter terror radius by Michael Myers, with Modern Abuse, or whether you're in a larger terror radius with a 40-meter terror radius with Doctor with Distressing. When you're inside the killer's terror radius and not in chase, therefore the killer is not after you, you will start periodically building a token. Now, Stakeout can hold 2, 3, and 4 tokens, respectively, at Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Each token is consumed whenever you land a good skill check. It will also enhance the good skill check to be the equivalent of a great skill check. It'll then also enhance 1 additional %. Now, when you land a good skill check, you do not get a benefit towards how quickly a generator is done. For example, a generator takes 80 seconds to do. Landing a good gives you no benefit, but gives you blood points. Landing a great will enhance what needs to be completed of the generator by 1%. Therefore, an 80-second generator, landing a great will knock off 1%. 1% at 80 is 0.8 seconds. However, if I have Stakeout, landing a good counts as a great, therefore 1%, plus the 1% you can see at the bottom of the perk, allows my greats to be 2% of a generator. Therefore, one great landing will be 1.6 seconds off of a generator every time I land a great. Now remember, Stakeout only has 4 tokens. If, however, you have 1 or more token and you land a great skill check, it does not consume the tokens you have on Stakeout. So it can be really good if you're great at landing your great skill checks, no pun intended, and you are able to constantly land them. You're going to be able to take advantage of the additional 1% that you land, which is going to be really good and add up a lot. Remember, it's 1.8 seconds every time you're landing a skill check on a generator. You can knock off quite a lot of time, depending on how many skill checks you get in the first place. Moving on to the next perk, Unnerving Presence. This is also a paid DLC from Detective Tap, so I would highly recommend purchasing this. It's a fun perk. It's good at getting better at your skill checks as well. I do like Stakeout. I think it's pretty great. Next perk is called Unnerving Presence. It's a Trapper Teachable. I do not recommend this because it prompts more skill checks for survivors, and a good survivor can land their greats, and therefore they can get their generators done quickly. Most commonly used, Unnerving Presence stacking with Overcharge, therefore making the hardest skill check available in the game for a survivor to land, therefore regression on generators alongside with Lullaby. Sometimes you'll see it on a Doctor. I do not rate that build at all. I don't think it lasts well enough or long into the game, and split pressure is how you beat that build, like a lot of other builds in Dead by Daylight, as well as the Trapper is a non-DLC killer, unlocked at level 30 this teachable, therefore I do not recommend it. If you were willing to spend blood points, or if you were willing to spend iridescent shards, on something on the shrine, I'd be looking at getting Fixated if I was a survivor, and if I was a survivor still, I'd get Stakeout. If I was a killer main, I probably would not look at getting Iron Maiden in this kind of situation, based on the fact that Iron Maiden does come into the game with the Huntress. That being said, guys, that's going to be all for this week's Shrine. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do educational, informative, DVD killer, and survivor content 5 days a week over at Twitch, if you guys want to tune into the live stream. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you in the fog in the next one. Have a good one.